Scorpio, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of April. And so before I get into this, just want to kind of highlight how this is structured. So this is going to be most applicable for your rising sign or your ascendant, which is how other people perceive you. It is also applicable for your sun sign, so that is how you express yourself, and then your moon sign. And so that is that emotional lens. It's how you process everything internally to whatever's happening around you. And so kind of jumping into the astrology a little bit here for the month of April. So we have a lot of Aries energy, and then we move into a lot of Taurus energy. And so for you, where you're going to feel this the most is in your 6th and your 7th houses. And so 6th house is all about your daily routines. So thinking about your fitness, your diet, your work life, all of those things are part of your daily routines. And then 7th house, this would be those significant relationships, one-to-one relationships, could be contracts and negotiations as well, but it's really thought of as more of that marriage house, specifically your first marriage partner, but subsequent marriage partners would also have some characteristics in there as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. Right away on April Fool's Day, we'll have Mercury stationing retrograde. So that's going to happen at 6:14 in the evening Eastern time, and that's in the sign of Aries. And so we've actually been in the pre-shadow of this since March 18th. Mercury will be retrograde until the 25th before it stations direct, and then we'll be in the post-shadow until May 13th. And so what happens when Mercury stations retrograde? Mercury is the planet of communication and processing of information. It's really your intellect. And so when it's retrograde, instead of it being outward, now everything's directed inward. And so in the sign of Aries, Aries is a very action-oriented sign. And so Mercury in Aries could be some sort of rapid communication, but instead of it being outward, it's inward. This could be taking action on something related to whatever is coming to the surface here. And I say that because of what happens right now that I'm about to get into. And so we'll have Mercury conjunct Chiron in Aries. So conjunct Chiron, Chiron is the wounded healer. It is all about wounds coming to the surface. There is something here in your house of daily routines, because these are both in the sign of Aries, that you've structured your life and your daily life in such a way. And it was to prevent yourself from feeling something. It was to prevent yourself from being triggered by something. And so it feels a lot like maybe you avoided, like you kind of created this daily routine around a sore spot that is now coming to the surface. This Mercury conjunct Chiron, so it's a blending of the energies. And so this would be something that you're seeing, that you're recognizing it maybe for the first time, this wound coming to the surface. We'll also have Mercury square Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius is all about breaking free from any kind of limitations or restrictions, anything that's been holding you back. And for you, this is sitting in your 4th house of home. And so when you think about your daily routines and your 4th house of home, what did you do with your daily life? How does that impact your home life? What do you need to change about your home life? What is coming to the surface here? What is it maybe you're trying to avoid or you do too much of? That could be something here like excess free time, or spending time alone would be one of those things that could be coming to the surface, because that 4th house is you removed from your community, society, all of those things. It is about being home. And so there's something here about your home life that needs to change because there's some sort of wound that you've structured your daily life around. That's actually going to come up pretty frequently during the month of April, and so it is actually going to get better. So I'll talk about that as I continue here. But then on the 5th, we'll have Venus enter the sign of Aries. And so this is going to happen on the 5th. It's going to happen at midnight Eastern time. So if you're in a different time zone, it's probably, well, I say that, but if you're on the West Coast or anything else in the United States, then it would be on the 4th. And so when Venus enters Aries, we're already going to have Mercury here, Chiron, Sun, Venus is now in the mix. And then, of course, the North Node, because we're in eclipse season. And so Venus in Aries conjunct Neptune in Pisces. So Neptune in Pisces is all about your dreams. That's it. Neptune in Pisces, Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. It's really just that energy amplified. And Venus in Aries is an interesting mix because Aries is very action-oriented. It's the god of war. Venus is pretty much the opposite of that. Venus likes to bring things together. Mars likes to tear things apart. Mars is the ruler of Aries, so it's that type of energy. And so Venus in Aries here, it's about what is it that you value? What is it that you want? Where do you need to create harmony in your life? And so that Aries energy, again, sitting in your daily routine, what about your daily routine just needs to be adjusted? Because there's something about your daily routine that doesn't align with what you want and what you value. There's something that you've structurally created for yourself that does need to change. And it relates to this fifth house energy, that Neptune and Pisces energy. It impacts your fifth house. Fifth house could be children, could be passions, hobbies, short-term relationships, anything that you enjoy doing outside of a work environment. And so there's some sort of dream you have for yourself, and maybe it's related to children. Passions, hobbies, kind of one and the same. And then children are really the two big topics as they relate to your daily routine. And so, do you want children? Did you structure your daily life in a way that makes it pretty much difficult for you to have children? Like you got a job that has you traveling most of the time. Or could be something related to your passions and hobbies, like you don't make enough time for that. Or maybe you make too much time for it. Whatever it is, there is this kind of dream that you have related to maybe children, maybe your passion projects, hobbies, things like that. And there is this kind of blending of your daily life. Like what actions do you need to take in your daily life in order to be able to pursue having children, raising children, doing what you enjoy doing from a passion standpoint, a hobby standpoint. We'll also have Venus sextile Pluto in Aquarius. And so Pluto in Aquarius, again, this is all about breaking down barriers, and that's sitting in your house of home. And so when you think about, okay, I have this opportunity to really create the type of life I want for myself, including that daily life, what needs to change at home? What needs to change here? Because there's something about this that needs to change. This could also indicate maybe moving if you need to actually change physical locations where maybe you live in a place that isn't big enough for you to have children. That could be something here connected to your daily life. That could also be something connected to, okay, I've got this goal. I want to be able to have children, but in order to do that, I have to relocate to another area. This would be something that needs to change around your home environment. And it would impact your daily life. Then we have the solar eclipse, which is also the new moon in Aries. And so that's going to happen on the 8th. The eclipse itself is going to happen at 2:17 in the afternoon Eastern time. And then the new moon is going to be exact 4 minutes later at 2:21. And so when this happens, you've got this. So with new moon energy, you've got the sun and the moon at the same degree point in the sky. But they're not alone up there. So Chiron is also at the same degree point. They're all at 19 degrees of Aries. And so right away during this eclipse, we have the sun really highlighting something here from an emotion standpoint. There's something coming to the surface. For you, it's going to be about your daily routine. So there's something coming to the surface. Chiron in the mix, it's about a wound that's coming to the surface. Now it's going to become much more clear to you why you structured your daily life the way that you did. Or maybe it wasn't intentional. Maybe this is just something that you did just unintentionally because you were trying to avoid something without consciously being aware of it. Whatever this wound is connected to how you structured your daily life, that's coming to the surface. And so kind of going back to maybe eating habits and things like that, because that is part of your daily routine. You do eat every day. And so this could be something that's coming to the surface. Like, why do you gravitate towards some foods and not others? And what about this needs to change? Is there something here that you need to do? Is there something wound coming to the surface? That moon energy is really the emotional understanding of what's coming up. We'll also have the moon conjunct Mercury in the sign of Aries. And again, Mercury retrograde. So there's a lot of internal processing of information. So we've got the moon, it's very emotional. We've got Mercury, it's very cerebral. And so this conjunction is giving you an opportunity to really think about how this affects you emotionally, understand what you need to do from an emotion standpoint, because again, this is all in the sign of Aries. So this is a very action-oriented sign. What is it that you need to do in order to process and heal from these wounds, heal from whatever's triggering you here? Because again, it's all sitting in this house of daily routines and this structure that you've created for yourself. We'll also have Mercury square Pluto in Aquarius. And again, Pluto in Aquarius is sitting in your house of home. So what needs to change in your home environment in order for you to be able to address these wounds that are coming to the surface and really heal from whatever is triggering you? And then on the 19th, we'll have the sun enter the sign of Taurus. And so that's going to happen at 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. And so when it happens, we'll have Sun, Jupiter, and Uranus all in the sign of Taurus. But what's interesting here is we'll have the Sun conjunct Chiron in Aries. And so Sun in Taurus is all about very grounded type of energy. The Sun likes to shine light on things. It's a lot of positivity, a lot of optimism. It's self-expression. And so really trying to understand what it is that you value, what it is that you want. Venus is all about harmony and relationships, and again, what you value. And then with Venus really being the ruler of Taurus, I should connect that dot for you. And then we have Chiron in Aries. So again, the wound that's coming to the surface as it relates to your daily life and the daily structure that you've created for yourself. And so with the Sun in Taurus, this is impacting your 7th house. So those significant relationships, maybe even a marriage type of relationship, but definitely a commitment type of person relationship. And how does that relate to your 6th house of daily routines? Because this is really highlighting maybe some wounds that have had some sort of impact on your significant partner here. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it is about contracts and negotiations. If there's something connected to your work, is there something here? It's like some sort of insecurity maybe could be coming to the surface with this energy. And that's why you structured your life in such a way, because you were afraid of taking some sort of risk. Like you felt like you weren't good enough. So there's something about this that's being highlighted and brought to the surface. And we'll also have the Sun square Pluto in Aquarius. So again, when we talk about Pluto in Aquarius, this is your home life. And now we've got a connection between your significant other and your home life, and this is a square. So there's some sort of obstacle or challenge. There's something here about your home life that needs to change as it relates to how you handle your significant other, the daily life that you've created for yourself, these wounds that are coming to the surface that need to be addressed. Is it insecurity? Is it something else? And then on the 20th, we'll have Jupiter conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. So that's going to happen at 10:27 in the evening Eastern time. And so Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Uranus is all about change. So it's sudden change. This is all in the sign of Taurus. And so what you're picking up, and probably picking up, is a lot of similar energy. And so when you think about what do you want to grow, what do you want to expand, there's also this component of, well, what needs to go away in order for you to be able to do that? This is all sitting in your house of one-to-one relationships. And so that significant relationship, that marriage type of partner, what is it that needs to change in order for that relationship to grow? Everything that you're learning about yourself, these wounds that are coming to the surface, the home life that you've created, that daily environment that you've created for yourself, and now what you're being given an opportunity is to really remove something here that's preventing you from growing or maybe even deepening a connection with another person, a significant type of connection here. And then on the 23rd, we'll have the full moon in Scorpio. So that's going to happen at 7:49 in the evening Eastern time. And so when this happens, we'll have the sun and the moon at opposite points in the sky. And so sun in Taurus, moon in Scorpio. Moon in Scorpio, obviously this is your sign, so you're going to be very well aware of this. This is just emotional transformation. That's probably the best way for me to describe it. Sun in Taurus is all about, okay, what do you value? What do you want? And so push-pull type of energy, in order for you to have what you want, you have to feel things differently. You have to heal from whatever's happening here. There is a transformation that's required, and really kind of understanding the impact of how you're emotionally processing everything, because this is impacting your first house of self. So this is physically who you are. There's something here about understanding who you are. How did you create yourself, and why did you put yourself in this type of structure to begin with? That's part of what this is all about. And then how does that impact your one-to-one relationships, that significant marriage type of relationship? And why is there such a push-pull? How do you find that happy balance between the two? How do you make the changes necessary within yourself in order to have that relationship? We'll also have the moon square Pluto in Aquarius. So again, when it comes to this relationship, what barriers exist to you having that type of healthy relationship? What needs to come down? Maybe what do you need to do away with in general when it comes to having that type of relationship? And it starts with the transformations that are inside of you. What emotional transformation needs to take place? Then we'll have Mercury stationed direct in the sign of Aries. So that happens on the 25th at 8:54 in the morning Eastern time. And so again, the post shadow will end on May 13th. So we're not completely out of it yet, but we're getting there. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And so where all this communication and processing of information was very inward during the retrograde, it's now outward when it's direct. And so Mercury will be conjunct Venus in the sign of Aries when this happens. And so Venus in Aries is about, again, what you value, the actions you want to take around what you value, could be even relationship specific. And so Mercury is giving you an opportunity to maybe talk about what's been happening here, maybe what you've been learning about yourself, maybe really putting words into these wounds that you've been feeling and having that kind of conversation, because this is a conjunction. So this is an easy blend of the energy where it's going to feel a little bit easier to talk about, okay, well, I structured my daily life in such a way. Let me talk about why I did what I did. Let me talk about, or really kind of communicate to other people. And maybe it's not words, could be in other modes of communication as well. Really express how you came up with this structure for yourself, that daily life. And then on the 29th, we'll have Venus enter the sign of Taurus. So that's going to happen at 7:32 in the morning Eastern time, where we'll have Venus, Sun, Uranus, and Jupiter all in the sign of Taurus. And so Venus being the ruler of Taurus, Venus conjunct the Sun in the sign of Taurus here. So a lot of that really harmony type of energy. Venus is very happy here in the sign of Taurus. This is impacting your house of one-to-one relationships. And so when it comes to your significant other, what is it that you want? How do you express yourself? This feels like it's an easy way, an easy expression of what you want within the relationship and how much you maybe value this relationship. And so that's the kind of energy that's coming through with this conjunction. We'll also have Venus conjunct Chiron in Aries. And so again, when you think about your significant relationship, conjunct Chiron in Aries. And so now this might be giving you an opportunity to really talk to your partner about, well, these are the things that I created for myself. This is the daily life I structured for myself. And here's the reasons why. Here's what's happening with me. Here's what I'm emotionally going through and what's coming to the surface. Here's my old wounds, triggers, all of this. This would be, again, conjunction. So it's going to be a very easy kind of merging of the energies here. But we'll also have Venus and the Sun square Pluto in Aquarius. So while it might be easy to talk about the why did I structure things a certain way? Why is my daily life look the way that it looks? There is still some sort of obstacle or barrier in your home that needs to change. There is Pluto in Aquarius is not always the easiest to understand or digest, but it does want to remove these barriers, anything that's going to prevent you from being happy. There is some resistance on your part though with this square energy. It is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge. And so maybe you don't feel like you're ready to remove and make changes in your actual home in order to have the daily life that you want, because you're healing from these wounds and you know you need to make changes here. Then on the 30th, we'll have Mars enter Aries. So that's going to happen at 11:33 in the morning Eastern time. And so when this happens, we'll have Chiron, Mercury, and Mars all in the sign of Aries. Mars will be conjunct Neptune and Pisces. So Neptune and Pisces is about, what is it that you want? What are your dreams? And so again, for you, this is in the 5th house. So do you want children? Because Mars in Aries is all about taking action. Mars is the ruler of Aries. This is a lot of action-oriented energy as it relates to what do you want to do? What kind of maybe hobbies do you want to have? How does that impact your daily life? Because this is about taking actions in your daily life in order to pursue passion projects, hobbies. Maybe it's getting ready to have children. Maybe there's something here connected to that. We'll also have Mars sextile the Moon and Pluto. Both are in the sign of Aquarius. And so Aquarius, again, very liberating type of energy. Moon and Pluto, Pluto being transformational, Moon being very emotionally driven. So this is a lot of giving an opportunity to make changes in your daily routine, and that will break down barriers. It's a sextile, so it's a lot easier to handle than a square. It still does require action on your part in order to be able to move through it. This is an opportunity. It's not a given. It's not like a conjunction. And so with that Aquarius energy sitting in your house of home, you're being given an opportunity here to really take action. And this is going to, again, feel easier than what it has been the entire month of April, where if you want to make changes in your home life, you can. If you want to remove those barriers, emotional barriers, maybe physical barriers, whatever it is that you want to do here, again, could be moving if you're trying to get yourself ready to be able to have a family, have children, grow your relationship with your significant other. A lot of this is being highlighted here, including your daily life is being highlighted here. And so really any barrier that's going to prevent you from having your daily life that you want, it can come down. We'll also have Mars sextile Jupiter in Taurus. And so again, when it comes to that significant marriage type of relationship here, it's taking action in your daily life in order to expand and grow your relationship with your significant other. So this could be starting a family. This could be maybe having conversations and really understanding, okay, well, now I'm ready. These are the changes I want to make in my daily life in order to be able to have children with my husband or wife or whatever. And so just kind of thinking through how all of this energy is really going to impact you. And so Mars is just entering the sign of Aries, so this is going to pop up again during the month of May. So Scorpio, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.